back with Bobby and JJ Radio. Today's show is entitled Eagle Ford Shale, and our first guest is Ron Smeberg. He has the Smeberg Law Firm, which is a bankruptcy and business law firm. He's been practicing since 2003. He's here in Texas from Indiana by the way of California. He's married with 2 children. He has a great law firm. Let's talk about your law firm a little bit. Ron, tell us all about it.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, brother.
I'm very honored that you allowed me to come here and sit with you today.
Sure.
Basically, it's a small firm. We believe in giving big firm results, small firm prices.
There you go.
And we like to help people. We like to help companies work through difficult times. As we've come out of the recession here, a lot of firms, oil companies to hotels to many other companies kind of got straddled with debt.
Sure.
And now that things are turning around, that debt's kind of keeping them from getting to the next level. So
Right.
I love to work with companies and help them, restructure that debt in a way so they can get to the next level.
I gotcha. So let's talk a little bit how you can stop. So I'm a business owner, but let's talk about how you can stop creditors from hounding someone, let's say in the oil industry, for instance.
The first thing we like to do is try to reach out to the creditors and try to work with them.
Right.
I like to think of bankruptcy as kind of the nuclear option.
True.
So first of all, we'll contact the creditors, let them know we want to pay you, we want to work out good terms, we want to keep the relationship going.
Right.
Because no one benefits when a company goes out of business.
Sure.
So that's the first step. Reach out to the creditors, try to work out terms, try to keep the relationship going.
So they should be getting a hold of you towards the beginning instead of the end, yeah, I guess.
You have to do it at the beginning. And the reason being is oftentimes people will come to us, small business owners, and what they'll have done is they'll bled away all their retirement, taken all the equity out of their house, and pretty soon they have nothing.
Sure.
And even if you have to go into a bankruptcy, you have to have something to work with.
Right.
I can stop the IRS, the comptroller, we can stop almost anybody, but we can't make your employees work for free.
So Ron, how long are you able to keep them off?
Initially, it starts for about 4 months. You have 4 months typically to go from a bankruptcy to a plan.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a small business, then it's 6 months, and sometimes we can push it off longer. Typically, a Chapter 11 for a small business will take about a year. So, but one of the things you have to have is you have to have some kind of plan for coming out.
Sure.
You can't go into bankruptcy with this idea that I'm going to continually losing money. You have to go in there with the court and present an idea. Well, this is where we're at, but this is how we're going to get to the point where we're eventually going to be profitable again.
Well, what do you do that keeps them off their backs?
Well, once you file bankruptcy, there's something called the automatic stay. It automatically stops all collection efforts from absolutely anyone. If someone continues to collect after they find out about the bankruptcy, they can have penalties and fines and get in all kinds of trouble.
Sure.
So at that point, we immediately have to go into court and do what's called first day motions, because what happens is once you file bankruptcy, you're no longer allowed to spend money without the court's permission. So we immediately go into court and ask the court permission to pay the employees, pay taxes as they come due, pay critical vendors so that you can continue to operate. And we do that immediately.
So tell us, we've kind of talked about all of the services you do for these type of companies, but what other types of law do you practice?
General business law, we do basic mergers, acquisitions. We help businesses start up businesses. We help businesses raise capital. We work closely with accountants, financial officers to help companies structure themselves in a way that they can raise money if they need to raise money.
And so let's talk about startups. What do you do with startup companies and how do you help them out?
We spend a lot of time finding out what the company's goals are, what their expectations are, because oftentimes people go into a business and they kind of go in there with these rosy glasses.
Right.
And a big part of our job is to kind of play devil's advocate and say, look, let's look at all the pitfalls here. What have you not thought about?
So we joke around about and say we meet a lot of independent business owners, startups, and we say, look, you're going to figure out pretty quick, do you have a hobby, an idea, or an actual business? And usually it's either a hobby or an idea. And so you kind of help them sit them down and make sure that that's not the case.
We do a lot of reality check. For example, franchising. Someone may have a restaurant. It's a great restaurant.
Sure.
And they all of a sudden say, well, I want to go ahead and franchise this. The problem is until you actually have developed brand awareness,
proof of concept,
you can have the greatest food in the world, but there's no value to the franchisee because no one's going to know who you are.
All right. So if anyone wants a free consultation with Ron, you can get a hold of him at 210-695, again, 6684. That's Ron Smeberg. It was Smeberg Law Firm at 210-695-6684. He will do a free consultation if you are in the oil industry, if you're a business, if you're a business owner, if you're looking to do a merger and acquisition or to have a startup consultation or anything like that. They can reach you at that number.